self.
But you're making your sort of living out of people's dependency to some extent on the yoga or through the teaching. So I mean, how is there an internal conflict around encouraging them to go to other sources that might help them develop, or do you do that? How do you feel around that? Because I mean, a lot of yoga is now quite sort of labelled. There's sort of yoga in a can. There are different schools of yoga with conflicting opinions, and there are sort of yoga wars that go on. It's quite competitive now.
Yeah, kneecaps up versus kneecaps down.
Oh, there is a lot of yoga.
Yes, there is a little conflict because if you want to make a good living, the thing to do is to do what is popular.
Do you find that you do that when you're teaching?
No, I can't. Sometimes I wish that I could, but for me, teaching yoga is part of my yoga practice. It's not the most efficient way of making a living, but I have to teach yoga. I can't teach anything else, which means perhaps I don't earn as much as I could, but at least I'm continuing in my journey.
Isn't it tempting to sell out and kind of come up with something with a set sequence, just repeat it and turn it into sort of Coca-Cola label?
I suppose so. When my bills come in and I find myself a little short of cash, then yes, I think, well, I wish I could do that thing, but I can't. I mean, my yoga and my yoga teaching is my life journey, so I'm not going to mess around with that.
Which brings me to my next question, which is another nice juicy area of yoga: magic tricks in yoga and gurus. You know, yes, obviously it's a powerful practice, and as you start to understand your own energetics more and more and practice yoga, you know, there are gurus around promoting all sorts of magic tricks and stuff. What do you feel about sort of gurus and yogic magic?
It could be, if I'm feeling generous, it could be that it's the person that is offering the magic trick feels that it is magic. My personal feeling is that all of the magic tricks that yoga teachers can offer, these sort of instantaneous healings and all the rest of it, it's purely physiological. It's totally understandable, and by keeping the information back, you are depriving people of the source. You know,
how do you personally resist sort of being projected onto as a guru or having people get dependent on you?
Because I offer people the tools to do it from themselves. That's the centre of my teaching. Now, if people want to keep coming back and hear details of what those tools are or have it repeated, it does take time to understand things. But the space I'm holding is your body is your own responsibility. Here are the things that are going to help. Work it out, and I'm there to help them experience what happens when you get those conditions right. And as soon as you feel it, you understand the reality of it, and then you'll be looking for those conditions again. If people want to keep coming to experience that, that's great for me. So I do need to earn a living, but I'm not putting myself in that position. I refuse because it doesn't feel comfortable.
Thank you very much. In our next interview, I'd like to talk a little bit about disability and working with people with physical restriction.
Okay, great. Yeah.